Welcome into Battle Red Sunday, and the Houston Texans, they battled all week. They battled illness to get to the game today. A number of players were sick with a flu-like virus, but a few starters are back in the lineup today. It's Week 13. The Texans are facing a Colts team that has won the past 3 games between the two teams. Tyrod Taylor, who missed the Week 6 matchup this year, he aims for his 3rd start in a row at home with at least 2 passing touchdowns. The offensive line gets a big boost in the middle with their starting center Justin Britt back in the lineup. And the Texans defense gets Christian Kirksey back and will need to slow down NFL's leading rusher in Jonathan Taylor, who has scored a rushing touchdown in 9 straight games this year. What do the Texans need to do to contain Taylor and keep their takeaway train moving against Carson Wentz and the Colts? We've got those answers, projected starting lineups, plus a one-on-one with rookie wide receiver Nico Collins. Texans Unlimited, presented by Verizon, starts now.
We are ready to rock in Houston.
Touchdown, Houston!
Are you kidding? What a catch. Oh, baby.
Welcome into Texans Unlimited, presented by Verizon. It is Battle Red Sunday. It is my cause, my cleats. It is Week 13 and a big game against the Indianapolis Colts. It's been a rough week, Drew, for these players. They've been sick all week, but several of them are back in the lineup today. And we have a very special home field advantage captain as well.
That's right, we do. Lance McCullers, the Houston Astros, is going to be the guy leading the team out of the tunnel, so hopefully a little bit of his mojo rubs off on the good guys today. Colts come to town at 6-6, coming off a loss against the reigning Super Bowl champs. They've got a bye next week. And listen, it's always delicious to get a win. It's always yummy to get a win against your AFC South opponents, but it's extra yummy to put these guys into the bye at 6-7 on the season. It's going to take a lot. Texans are big underdogs today.
They are big underdogs, but you know what? This Colts team needs to bounce back after they've gotten double-digit leads in several of their games and sort of withered them away as the game has gone on. So they've got some things of their own they need to clean up today. Let's get to some of your quick hits of the week. Titus Howard will get his 2nd start at left tackle today. The 3rd-year offensive lineman got his 1st start at left tackle last week. He spent his first 2 seasons at right tackle, and then he moved to left guard earlier this year. Tim Kelly says he's seen a lot of good things mentally and physically from Titus Howard when asking him to make those moves.
He not only physically, but like you said, mentally, he's able to handle a lot. So, would feel comfortable with him being able to go in there and probably play 4 out of the 5 spots. And just because I haven't seen him snap the ball would be the only reason why we wouldn't want him inside. But he takes pride in his work, being able to come and learn and understand conceptually as opposed to just memorizing what one player or one person has on a particular play. So his ability to conceptualize and learn the whole thing as opposed to just one spot really increases his value and allows us to be able to move him around without skipping a beat.
And the Texans will face the NFL's leading rusher today. Jonathan Taylor has rushed for over 1,200 yards and scored 14 touchdowns through 12 games. Defensive coordinator Lovie Smith talked about what he has seen in the 2nd year back and what he's going to take to slow him down today.
Pretty familiar with Jonathan from my time up north. He has everything you're looking for in a great running back. When you have a commitment to the run like they do, he has size. He has great vision in the hole. He can run in between the tackles. He's as fast as anybody on the field. I know he was a track star in high school. And he can catch the ball out of the backfield. So every down back that can do it all, it's a big challenge. We have to be, of course, you've heard a lot about being gap sound. And you have to, it's about pursuing, getting as many guys to the ball as possible when you play a guy like him.
And Jacob Martin is getting used to his starting position on the defensive line. He's gotten a sack in each of the last 3 games. Last week against the Jets, he had a sack, a quarterback hit, and a TFL. He evaluated the season he's having so far.
For sure. Me and John talking all the time, whether that's in-game, in practice, in between plays, during the play. We're always in constant communication in terms of what he's thinking or what moves he's thrown on guys or how he go about being in certain situations or how he plays 6 technique or how I play 6-eye. We lean on each other in terms of what looks the other person may be getting on the other side, and then just trusting that, okay, I know that John will keep contained, if I'm rushing high or if he's going under. Just having that like unspoken chemistry between us. I think that helps us work pretty well.
And you see Jacob Martin there doing his press conference from his house. That was on Wednesday. He is fine. The entire team went virtual on Wednesday because a number of players had an illness, not COVID-related, but a flu-like virus that was sort of going through the locker room, which will affect our actives and inactives list for today. So, Drew, let's get right into that inactives list.
Yeah, David Johnson, the running back, is not going to play today. That's a little bit not a surprise because you saw him on the inactives list, so he's not going to go. Neither will Zach Cunningham, the linebacker, was not listed at all on the injury report this week, so we'll likely hear more about that after the game from David Culley, the head coach. Again, tight end Jordan Akins, a healthy scratch. He's not going to play today, nor will Justin McCray, Terrence Brooks, tight end Jeff Driscoll, and Deshaun Watson, the quarterback, not going to go for the Texans today. So you see who's in, you see who's out. There was also some movement yesterday as far as guys getting signed to the active roster, guys going on to IR. You're not going to see Danny Amendola, the wide receiver. He's on injured reserve, out for at least a few more weeks and maybe the rest of the season. But you might see Kirksey back, that linebacker. So there's a good possibility he returns, and he's going as you look at Davis Mills, the quarterback, throwing passes right now.
Yeah, battle red for the quarterbacks today. Also, good to not see Brandon Cooks on that inactives list because he was battling illness all week, as was Chris Conley. So it got a little bit hairy there towards the end of the week when you're wondering what's going to happen to this wide receiver group if they're all dealing with illness and they're not able to go. So he gets his wide receivers back. He loses David Johnson. You're probably going to see Royce Freeman get his first carries. He was active last week, the running back that the Texans picked up off waivers. He had played 8 games with the Panthers. The Panthers got Christian McCaffrey back. And then now Royce Freeman lands with the Texans. So, and there's Traymon Smith. He's got a lot to smile about. Signed a contract extension over the weekend. Done a lot of nice things in the kickoff and punt return game. And he's chatting it up with his former team he spent last year with the Colts. All right, I know you guys have a lot of questions, so let's get to your fan questions right now. People are watching from everywhere. We've got Joe in the UK, and we've got Steve in Conroe. Welcome into Texans Unlimited. Thanks so much for watching. Our first question, Logan wants to know, who will be backing up Rex Burkhead with David Johnson inactive? Logan, it's an excellent question, and we are guessing it's probably going to be...
Yeah, probably Royce Freeman.
Royce Freeman.
He's the ideal candidate just because he's kind of got the most time on the roster. I mean, and that's not saying a whole heck of a lot right now because you've parted. Think about it, who you've parted ways with since August. Mark Ingram is no longer here. David Johnson is not going to suit up. Philip Lindsay is now a Miami Dolphin. So those guys are gone, and you're going to go with Rex Burkhead, Royce Freeman. Those are kind of like your two main options. You might see some other little wrinkles to the offense here and there. You might see a wide receiver or a tight end line up in the backfield. Don't expect them to wind up getting a bunch of carries, but just formationally, you might see some of those things. So it's likely going to be a lot of Rex Burkhead. Probably means you pass the ball more today because of what you got going in the run game. But
Scotty Phillips is not active because he has to miss this game, and then he will have missed 3 games while on IR. So he's not even eligible to return until after this Colts game.
And Jalen Samuels has been pulled up from the practice squad, but, I mean, he's probably your third guy if you wind up mixing in a third guy to get carries or catch a pass or two.
All right, Matt says, do you think Mills should play to get more experience? Matt, it's a great question. David Culley was asked about it earlier in the week, and he said as long as Tyrod Taylor is healthy, he will be the starter and he will play. Because right now they're trying to win games. They feel like Tyrod Taylor gives them the best chance to win. Now, we could see Davis Mills if Tyrod gets hurt or if he's got some health issues. That's according to David Culley. So right now, I think they want to see what Tyrod Taylor is able to do. And the offense, while it has struggled, it has done some things nicely, predominantly in the first half of these games. We saw it last week against the Jets. They had 2 really nice drives, back-to-back touchdown drives that ended in touchdown passes. And then the week before, Tyrod Taylor rushed for 2 touchdowns against the Titans. Not putting up great numbers offensively, but he's been doing enough to at least get in the end zone. So they're hoping to build on that and, of course, get the chemistry with the O-line back, especially with today Justin Britt back in the mix.
You bring up a good point. They've got to shake things up after the intermission at the half. I mean, think about what happened last week. They score those 2 touchdowns, consecutive drives, they get that. So after that second touchdown, they kick off. Defense gets a 3 and out. Looks like you're rolling, and you might be able to kind of not put the nail in the coffin proverbially, but really put things farther out of reach for the opposing team. Defense goes 3 and out, and they punt 4 straight possessions. They miss a field goal. They get a turnover on downs, and they have the final drive end. The game ends. I mean, they had 30 plays from that 3 and out on. They got 65 yards on 30 plays. Inexcusable. You can't expect to win if you're doing that and you're so inept offensively. So they've got to get something going after the second half when they're moving the ball, and they've got to get into the end zone much more than they do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're not able to convert a first down in the second half. It's really a struggle. And your defense, while they got you 5 turnovers in the previous 2 weeks each game, they got you 1. So you can't really rely on them getting 5 takeaways in every single game and putting you in short field positions. But obviously the defense wants to do its job as well and get more takeaways this week. So maybe it all comes together and everything works out in the second half. Matt wants to know, what do you think Tyrod Taylor needs to do to be successful today? Well, one thing they did not do last week was stretch the length of the field, and that's something that Tyrod Taylor was asked about. Brandon Cooks, for whatever reason, I mean, maybe teams are double teaming or whatnot, they weren't able to throw the ball down the field. Tim Kelly said that's hard to do when you're getting 3 and out. So maybe if they do that, they're able to move the ball a little bit more, and they're able to get some big chunk plays. I would like to see more chunk plays on offense from Tyrod Taylor, because that is exciting for the offense. It gets the ball moving. And we saw it earlier in the season. I'd like to see them get back to that. Yeah,
they got the touchdown, the 40-yarder to Cooks in the second half, and that was their last time they'd find the end zone. And after that, it's like you said, it didn't happen. So it's tough to get big chunk plays when you can't run the ball. So it's kind of like a chicken or the egg type of scenario for them. But yeah, they've got to be more explosive. They got to also just do the little things like run the ball and get 4 yards of carry sometimes.
Jay wants to know, how do you slow down Darius Leonard? And that is a great question that a lot of opposing offenses want to know the answer to. He has so many takeaways. He's got like 9 takeaways between his interceptions, his forced fumbles, his fumble recoveries. I mean, this linebacker is, what do they call him, the maniac?
Yep.
They call him the maniac, and for good reason.
We're not giving him that nickname. That's a self-given nickname, so don't anyone get mad at us saying we're,
My family lives in Indianapolis, and my nephew dressed up with a Darius Leonard jersey, and people were saying, "Hey, it's the Maniac," and my sister got it. My sister doesn't watch football.
Yeah.
She got offended. We had to tell her, like, that's his nickname. They're not calling your son a Maniac. Fun fact. My sister she'll kill me for telling that fun fact, but I think it's a great question. I think you have to be able to run the ball. I think protecting the ball is what you need to do, because the one thing Darius Leonard does well, it's very similar to what this defense does well. He punches the ball out, and that's what he really prides himself on. So I think ball security is one. I mean, I don't know if you can slow a guy like that down, but don't let him get the takeaways. Don't let him get the ball away from you and build momentum for the Colts.
You said it. I mean, you got to be secure with the ball around this guy. He's burned you before. He got Kiki QT last year with a forced fumble. The year before that, he plucked a Kiki QT drop pass out of the air and helped kind of seal a win there in Indianapolis. So he has given the Texans problems in the past, Darius Leonard. He's rising up the charts there, getting closer to T.Y. Hilton territory as far as being an absolute Texans dagger. And Jonathan Taylor has been one of those guys. You look at what he's done this season. 5 of the last 7 games, he has had 100 yards on the ground. The first of those 5 came against the Texans back in Week 6. He really got rolling and started off on his, hot streak, if you will. He's an excellent back. Really can do it all. They talked about his breakaway speed, talked about his shiftiness. He can catch the ball. He's decent in pass protection. So their hands are full today. The main way the Texans say they've got to beat him is by being gap sound and being fundamental. It's nothing exciting, nothing flashy, but they got to make sure that they do it and put those words into practice.
It is hard to believe he's only in his second season, Jonathan Taylor. And I was looking at the Colts record. They're obviously 6-6 right now. The 6 games that they've won, Jonathan Taylor has rushed for over 100 yards. The 6 games they've lost, under 100 yards. So there you go, guys.
Pretty simple math,
all you got to do is keep Jonathan Taylor under 100 yards. That should be easy to do, right? The Bucs did it last week. He still scored a rushing touchdown. That is going to be harder to stop. He's had a rushing touchdown in 9 straight games. So looking to do that. And there's Brandon Cooks. There's Chris Conley, the 2 guys we said earlier this week, battling with illness. They'll be joined alongside Nico Collins, the rookie. He has had a nice rookie season so far. Still looking for that elusive first touchdown, but he's probably rather happy about Michigan being Big Ten champs. And Drew had a chance to catch up with Nico earlier this week. Take a look.
What's it like playing? You can't say it now because you haven't done it yet, but what's it like preparing for a team a second time in a season?
It's the same thing. It's as the first time.
Yeah.
Just breaking down film. To watch, teams they played after us. Just how, what did they changes or, anything new came up. So it really just rehearsal.
Yeah.
Going out there, just trusting the install. Game preparation that Coach Kelly put up. So we're going out there for practice. Trusting it. Trusting the game plan. We'll see how it goes Sunday.
Tell me about the Colts secondary. What's the biggest challenge that they present based off of what you saw against them the first time around and what you've seen on them on tape since?
They defense, they have a lot of turnovers, so I feel like as an offense, we got to take care of the ball.
Yeah.
Limited turnovers, turnovers can really make or break the game.
Right.
So I feel like as an offensive unit, we have to take care of the ball. It's a great secondary we're going up against. But again, come down to the preparation, and who can, limit less turnovers, who can take care of the ball, and when it's time to score, you got to score, So that's really what it comes down to, you're just going to trust, the process, for sure.
Okay, let's find out how you're powering game day.
Okay.
The night before a noon game, when do you go to sleep, and how long do you sleep?
Night before a noon game?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in bed. I say I'm in bed around 9:45, 10.
Okay.
I got the jitters almost, I'm so.
It's understandable.
Yeah, so it take me a minute to go to bed. I just, a lot on my mind, just trying to get ready for the game. It's noon game, so it's an early wake-up call.
Right.
So you want to make sure you got your plays down right, So I say I close my eyes around at least 11 latest.
Okay.
Latest, yeah.
And then get up pretty early, or?
Get up pretty. Yeah, I say I get up around. I say breakfast normally around 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably get up around 7.
Okay.
Yeah, don't have to be in the locker room not until about 10.
Right.
Home game or something. So I'll probably wake up at 7. Eat a little food.
What are you eating?
Right.
What are you eating? What's for breakfast?
What's breakfast? It depends on what they have in the cafe.
Is it a lot, or you keep it light? Because some guys, yeah.
I keep it light. I'm not really that hungry in the morning, so I'll probably get like eggs, hash browns, the smoothie, liquid IV, a little hydration. Just go and get rolled out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Music-wise, what do you listen to?
Music, Rod Wave.
Okay.
He's a good artist. I like him when I wake up in the morning. Just calm. There's nothing too crazy, just relaxing, and then I say when we getting dressed, putting on the helmet, uniform, pants, that's when I crank it up a little bit.
All right.
Just some, get me going, get me hype.
Okay.
So,
well, before we end this, I know you're a proud Michigan man. So what has this week been like for you? They beat the Ohio State Buckeyes. It had to be nice, huh?
It's great. I'm so happy for them, man. I just know how much that game meant to them. To us and the fan base. Impressive for me. I was alum there. I played there. I haven't beat Ohio State. So I know how much that game meant, to win, and how much relief that was because, just the grind we putting in, it's the last game of the season, the regular season. So, that preparation start, where I say winter workouts, right after, winter workouts, what we doing to be Ohio State.
Yeah.
And that's in November, winter workouts condition. That's like December, January. So, that game always been, a huge, statement for Michigan, because we haven't beat them over the years. But, man, I'm just proud of Coach Harbaugh, man, and his team. I'm so glad, man, because that win meant a lot, and I know it felt good. I could tell the vibe, with Schembechler Hall. Yeah, Schembechler Hall. It's just great vibes, man. I'm so proud of them.
Good stuff.
Man, I'm happy.
Well, let's hope the Texans can kind of follow in those ways and pick up a win against the Colts. Nico Collins, thank you so much for the time. Best of luck.
Thanks for having me.
Nico Collins, a part of the Texans 2021 rookie class, doing some nice things, along with the other rookies who have made their way into the starting lineups like Brevin Jordan and Roy Lopez. So with that transition, let's get into our starting lineups for today against the Colts. It's week 13. Let's take a look at our starting lineups on offense and defense.
Yeah, offensively, Tyrod Taylor is going to be the guy who is under center, and there's a little bit of a shakeup as you see there on the offensive line. But Titus Howard is your left tackle. At running back, it's going to be Rex Burkhead. Plus, you got Nico, you got Brandon Cooks, which that's a good thing because you had to wonder, like we were talking about earlier in the week, whether or not Brandon Cooks would be able to go. So there is your starting lineup. Brevin Jordan probably going to get some run today as well at tight end. 2 weeks ago against Tennessee, he got 28% of the snaps. Last week he was in for 60% of the snaps. So Jordan and Collins, the rookies, the playmakers, going to get some more time as the weeks go on.
Yeah, and then on defense, more rookies there. You see Roy Lopez. You see your defense in front. Jacob Martin, who could get his 4th straight game with a sack. He's really come along nicely in these last few weeks. And Justin Reed back in the lineup. That was the big story last week. That's all behind them. Disciplinary action was not in the lineup last week. He's back in today, and they're certainly going to need him against this Colts this Colts offense and this wide receiver group that is so talented. So there's a look at your starting lineups.
And we always got to put the caveat out there. It's the projected start. It might change because you've got some wrinkles sometimes that come up when a team comes out with 3 wide receivers, sometimes even 4. So you might see more defensive backs, less defensive backs out there, or
depending on the formation. That's
depending on the
right.
formation, or
and
more
Zach,
wide receivers.
Yeah, and Zach Cunningham, which we want to mention, he's on the inactives list as well. So that's why you see some changes there in the linebacker group. But Drew, we talk about this Colts team. It is going to come down to the defense, really slowing down Carson Wentz and this offense. This defense has really come along well since Week 6.
Yeah.
I mean, that Week 6 game was rough for both offense and defense. And even Lovie Smith said this is a totally different defense than what the group that played in Week 6. They've just got a lot more chemistry. They're not giving up as many big explosive plays. They certainly hope that what they've been able to do in the last few weeks, they can continue that against a Colts team that's trying to make a playoff push, and they really need this game today. So Texans can play a bit of a spoiler, and Carson Wentz has just really come along. I mean, he was still dealing with the ankle injury. He's come up with 21 touchdowns to 5 interceptions so far this season. But last week against the Bucs, 3 touchdowns and 2 of those interceptions. So if this defense can get some more takeaways, he also likes to fumble the ball. He's done that quite a bit.
And think about what you saw last week. The Buccaneers forced them to pass something like 20-plus straight times in the second half. And a lot of folks were like, you dummies, run the ball. You got Jonathan Taylor. Well, Frank Reich, the head coach of the Colts, brought it up with the media this week. He said, listen, we know you can run and you can pass, but they forced us. The Tampa Bay defense forced us when we had run versus pass options to go, through the air. They took away the run, so that's what happened. You hope the Texans could try and do something similarly, because if you're throwing the ball, you're giving your defense a chance to pick off a pass. This defense has been excellent as far as getting takeaways. The Colts defense is even better. They've got 10 more takeaways than do the Houston Texans.
Yeah, but they committed 5 turnovers last week. Hopefully this Texans defense can force a few more today, because they know what it's like to force 5 takeaways. They've done it twice already, and they're looking to get some more. The takeaway train to keep it rolling. Well, that's going to do it for Texans Unlimited, presented by Verizon. We thank all of you for watching on this Battle Red Sunday. That's and to everyone that worked on this program. It's a lot of people led by Tyler Marcotte. Thank you so much. Have yourselves a great game day. And as always, go Texans.